politics. I don't like to get political. Really? Who do you think are passing the laws that we're living under in this moment? So, with that, I introduce Scott Presler, everyone. Conservative activist extraordinaire.
Hello, Hawaii! Low energy. Let's do it again. Aloha! There we go, you came to play, okay. Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Presler. I'm the son of a retired Navy captain. I am a long-haired Eagle Scout. And this year at CPAC, I was very humbled to receive the Ronald Reagan Award for Freedom. Thank you. But how did I begin this political journey? I first want to thank President Obama. Because he turned me into a community organizer on the right side. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. We moved to Northern Virginia, where I graduated from George Mason University with, by the way, a 3.63 beauty and brains. I'm joking. I'm kidding. And you know, I couldn't find a job, but the difference between me and the Democrat Party is I'm not a victim. I'm not gonna blame anyone else for my shortcomings. So I started walking dogs for a living, and I want everyone to know that there's no shame in a hard day's work and an honest day's labor. I went on to work at an elementary school, and during this time, President Obama was re-elected for his second term. That night that he was re-elected, I created my Twitter account because I told myself, Scott, you can whine, you can complain, or do something about it. Yeah. And so I did. I started volunteering, and I fell in love with it, not only because of you, but I fell in love with making a difference. I felt like I was affecting change in my community. Now, the reason why I'm a little bit different than you sandal wearers today, and I'm wearing cowboy boots here in Hawaii, is in 2014, I got my first ever political job helping to elect Governor Greg Abbott in the great state of Texas. Who, by the way, is securing the border and building a wall. I knew how important it was after Antonin Scalia passed away, because then we had a split 4-4 on the Supreme Court of the United States. And I knew we had to have a conservative appoint a conservative justice to that court. So I spent 2 years of my life, and with your help, we defeated the Hillary Clinton, electing President Trump, making sure that we took over that Supreme Court seat with a conservative constitutionalist. I've spent the last 4 years traveling the country, registering thousands of voters, training tens of thousands of volunteers, and cleaning up our cities. You see, it was President Obama who inspired me, but it was President Trump who made me take a look at our cities that were neglected, that were abandoned, that were left behind. Do you guys remember when President Trump talked about the city of Baltimore, Maryland? He used kind of, we'll say, ungraceful words talking about the city. But again, how I was disappointed at first in my inaction that in part helped lead to President Obama's re-election, I was a little disappointed in society because they were so quick to judge Baltimore. They were quick to point the finger. They were quick to blame, but nobody was willing to offer a solution to the problem of trash in the city. And so something told me, Scott, you need to go. I tweeted out to my followers, I'm going to Baltimore, Maryland. The tweet went viral. Everybody across the country, even Hawaii, they wanted to help. And then I was like, uh-oh. So within 6 days, we organized a cleanup on a Monday, a work day. And because of love and service with 200 volunteers, we picked up 12 tons of trash in 12 hours in one day. In the most dangerous streets of America, love won. And I want people to know that's a part of this message, the power of one, that I'm no different than you. I'm an average, ordinary American citizen. And so after that cleanup, I went home to my ma and I said, Ma, I'm really good at picking up trash. She was thrilled to hear that. Her heart swelled with pride because her baby boy, that dog walker, had turned into a professional trash cleaner. And so I realized something, that the government wasn't doing its job, that despite unlimited resources, despite the backing of the federal and states governments, it took private citizens coming together as Ohana, a community, a family. And I realized that we don't need the government. We can do it ourselves. And I thought to myself, why can't we do this everywhere? So we did. We went to Atlanta, Austin, Baltimore, Chicago, Denver, Duquesne, Detroit, Houston, Kenosha, Miami, Milwaukee, Portland, Pittsburgh, Philly. I was even protested for picking up trash in San Francisco, California. Bless their hearts. Do you guys know in Hawaii what that term means? Well, for those of you who don't, I first moved to Texas and it was very hot. I was sweltering. I was going around to everyone saying, guys, it's so gosh darn hot. They'd cock their head and look at me and say, bless your heart. I went home to my ma and I said, Ma, I love Texas. Everyone's so nice. They're all blessing my heart. Come to find out, it's a really nice southern way of saying, you're dumb as hell, but you're cute. And I want people to know that, again, I'm no different than you. Our society so often tells us to say, who will? And the only thing different that I did is I said, I will. And I hope that every single one of you, you're encouraged that you will make your motto in life, that if you see wrongdoing, if you see injustice, if you see a void that isn't being filled, that you will take up that banner, that you will take action, that you will be that person who dares to say, I will. Now, what is the future of the Republican Party? I really want to make it clear. What's the difference between Republicans and Democrats? Well, Democrats, they want to govern by coercion, mandates, and force. They want the state, the government, to dictate how you, a private citizen, lives your life. But Republicans know, we believe in the three tenets of liberty, freedom, and choice. And at the foundation of the Republican Party is the Constitution of the United States of America.
Amen.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've traveled to 28 states in 2021. And the issue that you, the voter, care about the most is you want election integrity reform. That we may have safe and secure, fair and free elections, and that one citizen means one vote. Notice I said citizen. This is a right granted to us, citizens of the United States, not allowing illegal immigrants like they are allowing in the state of New York. But a gentleman named George Santos, who's running for Congress on Long Island, he just tweeted to the new mayor of New York, he is gonna sue the heck out of him and fight for our right that it's one vote for one citizen in the United States. Thank you, George Santos. In addition to election integrity, we've seen here, I have been to no other state that requires vaccine passports. I've been from Pennsylvania to Wisconsin to Nevada. You guys are the most locked down state in the entire country. And I want you to know that this is a historic year for the Republican Party. And I think that we have a historic opportunity in the state of Hawaii. And we, looking at taking the legislature this November, no Democrat should go unchallenged in November 2022. We are going to give the people of Hawaii a choice between mandates and for freedom. We are going to be their voice. And that comes to medical freedom and patient protection. You hear me loud and clear. My goal is to not only win over the state legislatures, but so when Republicans take control of the House, take control of the Senate, that on day one of taking that Republican majority, we put forth legislation that no American citizen can be fired or forced into retirement, having to choose a different profession for making the personal medical decision not to take the COVID-19 vaccination. And more importantly, think about the people that have been affected by this unconstitutional, dictatorial, authoritarian mandate. Firefighters, police officers, truckers, doctors, nurses, the military, grocery store workers, the very people through their compassion and empathy that they, despite a pandemic, would wake up every day and serve us, the American people. They made sure that we had medical care. They made sure that we were protected. They made sure that we have food. They made sure that we have supplies. What is the reward for their compassion and empathy? The message that we get from the Democrat Party is, take the vaccination or you're fired. Take the vaccination or you lose your 20-year pension. Take the vaccination or you're not going to be able to feed your family. You're not going to be able to provide as a caretaker. And this is our chance as the Republican Party that we are going to look the voters in the eyes. We're going to speak on behalf of working class America and tell the voter, I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for your job. I'm going to fight for your family. I'm going to fight that you, the American citizen, get to dictate how to run your lives and not the federal government. Now, I've been doing a lot of listening here in Hawaii. I really wanted to understand what matters to you, how we could make things better. On Maui, I've heard that we've limited our sugarcane production. We've limited our pineapple production. We've limited our cattle, our dairy. I've heard that here on Oahu, that the only bread mill in town has closed down, losing thousands of jobs. Are you guys happy spending $10 for a loaf of bread here in Hawaii? Are you happy spending $8 for a gallon of milk here in Hawaii? Are you happy spending $5 for a gallon of gas here in Hawaii? Then it's time for change. But that comes at the state level, where we can harness and wield power. And so, in addition to election integrity legislation, in addition to medical freedom, we need to make sure that we are deregulating all of these regulations like the Jones Act. And let's make sure that Hawaii is not just an import state, but let's become an export state. Let's have trade deals that are not only going to benefit Hawaii and the people of Hawaii, but let's become self-sustaining, that we are able to capitalize on our plentiful and bountiful natural resources in a way that does still preserve the beauty, but we can lower those prices and make life easier for the people of Hawaii. Does that make sense? Do you guys agree with that? Then if you do agree, I encourage you, I urge you, I beg you, you can't just hold on to those values. You need to tell the very people that represent you, you either give us medical freedom, you either give us election integrity, you either give us a robust agricultural industry here in Hawaii, or this November, we are gonna primary, repeal, and replace you with somebody that is going to get the job done. Now, last night, I spoke before a group, and there were some legislators in your state government present. And in addition to that legislation that I've just mentioned, here in the state of Hawaii, you are unlike the mainland in that you are unable to democratically elect your school board candidates. Do you know who chooses those candidates? Governor Ige. That is undemocratic. That is voter disenfranchisement. We need to put forth legislation that allows the American people, the people of Hawaii, not Governor Ige, that you get to elect, not select, your school board candidates. Because unlike the Democrats who believe in governing by the state, we believe in parental choice in education, and that parents have an integral and crucial role in the development of our children. And that means that you, moms and dads, should have a voice in electing the very people who are going to be responsible for the education of your children. We saw this in Virginia, where the Democrat candidate said, literally, parents shouldn't have a voice in education. Spoiler alert. In Virginia, for the first time since 2009, we flipped the governorship from Democrat to Republican. We won the lieutenant governorship. We won the attorney general position. We flipped the House of Delegates from blue to red. And you hear me loud and clear. In a state like the Commonwealth of Virginia that's been blue for over a decade, if we can do it in Virginia, then gosh darn it, we can do it here on the islands. And I want you to be encouraged what's happening all across the country. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which voted for Joe Biden, we won in November 2021 a statewide Supreme Court justice seat. In Houston, Texas, which is bluer than blue, we flipped 2 Democratic incumbent school board members from Democrat to Republican. And these school board members are anti-critical race theory and anti-mask. And, oh, it gets better. In the state of Florida, in a state that in 2012, the Democrats had 500,000 more Democrats than Republicans, I'm very proud to announce that as of today, for the first time in the history of the state of Florida, there are more Republicans registered than Democrats. That has never happened, ever. And yes, we are gonna re-elect Governor Ron DeSantis. How would you guys like a DeSantis here in Hawaii? Then if you really want it, remember that you can make it happen. I'm a dog walker. I'm a guy that self-determined his destiny because I made the conscious decision to take action, to do something, and it forever changed my life. And if I can do it, you can do it. And I'm asking you to be the change that you want to see in the world. Because quite frankly, guys, I want you to understand the gravity of the situation that we're in. Right now, the only thing saving our country, ironically enough, are 2 Democrats. Kirsten Sinema of Arizona and Joe Manchin of West Virginia. And I know this may be uncharacteristic of this group, but I think that we should thank those 2 Democrats for not passing the Biden Broke Back Better bill. If it weren't for them, guys, they would bust the filibuster. If it weren't for them, they would make DC a 51st state, adding 2 Democratic senators. If it weren't for them, they would do a pathway for 11 million non-citizens. If it weren't for them, they would federalize our elections, meaning same-day voter registration, meaning no excuse blanket mail-in voting to every home across the country. If it weren't for them, they would do the gun-grabbing bill. So just know, right now, we are teetering on the edge. We are in a very precarious position. And that's why 2022 is so important. We must take the House. We must take the Senate. We must win governorships. We must win the state legislatures. And more importantly, upon winning those positions as the Republican Party, we must be prepared and able that on day 1, we are going to pass legislation that is going to help the American people. And so I encourage you, please register voters. Please join the Honolulu County GOP, join the Big Island GOP, join the Maui GOP, join the Kauai GOP. My defining message today is if you ever have a moment of doubt, I want you to think of me, and I want you to remember what one person can accomplish. And the only thing that I'm asking of you, my last final words are, do something! I want to thank Tamara McKay and Renee Abbott of Maui for putting this event together. I want to thank Miss Holly for being an integral role, not only on Big Island, but also in Oahu. I want to thank Miss Laura and Miss Cheryl and Miss Lonnie. I want to thank Chairman Brett. I want to thank Chairwoman Kahio. I can't believe I'm remembering all of this. I'm not Joe Biden. Was that wrong? Was that mean?
Nope.
But most importantly, I want to thank you guys. I haven't felt so welcomed, so appreciated, so accommodated. I've never been late so many times. And truly, you have made me feel like Ohana, and I'm deeply grateful. And I'm going to be looking to you that this year, let's make history. Let's show people hope. Let's show them love. Let's show them action. Let's show them empathy. Let's show them compassion. Let's show them, most importantly, that we are going to fight for the greatest, freest country this world has ever seen. Red takes blue in 2022! Mahalo. Aloha. Thank you.